Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are having a hot topic conversation with two of my favorite people. We have the beautiful Miss Alicia Jackson, and we have
Wow.
Christopher Markland.
I thought
We
you were gonna
are
call me beautiful for a second there. I
I
was
would
gonna
say
be
the
like, hey.
handsome. The
the
handsome.
handsome. Yeah, I know. I win. We are going to discuss,
Hmm.
do men love women for real?
Mm,
Or like women for real. I think this is a great
mm.
topic to talk about. It's been all the craze in YouTube and especially on TikTok. So we're gonna have a healthy diet conversation about this. Hi, honey.
Let me get hydrated.
Get hydrated. Get
Right, yes,
ready.
Chris, because you know we coming for you. No.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this.
You're like, wait, I didn't know that this was the type of temperature in this conversation.
We won't do you like that, Chris.
Oh
It's
no.
all-
I'm here for the fellas, and I appreciate this conversation. Just like I am the single one. I love that name. I, um, I, I'm glad that you are having this conversation because, like you said, it is an amazing topic, and I'm glad that I'm here to at least give voice to the men. And I
Yeah.
think that as we get into this discussion, being able for us to have a good, healthy conversation, a good, healthy debate from both the male and the female perspective, I think is something that we need to have more of. So I really appreciate you facilitating this conversation, Sonia.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have to credit Alicia because Alicia was like, "Oh, this is a great topic." So I thank the both of you for being willing to come on and have this
Hmm.
discussion
Mhm.
with me.
Definitely.
And I have to send a special shout out to I am the single one, aka first home tuber, because I was having technical difficulties earlier and she helped me out. So thank you, love. I love you and I appreciate you as always. Okay, so Alicia, us a little bit about yourself, and then I'll go to Christopher, and then we'll get started with the video and the topics.
Yes. Well, my name is Alicia Jackson. I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan. I have been doing this therapy mental health thing for quite a bit. I don't like to say the number because it ages me, but I've been doing this
Black don't
for about
crack.
14 some odd years now. And so I have joined into these YouTube streets and social media because I felt it was important to have a centered voice
Hmm.
about mental health and to really kind of look at us as humans and not as diagnoses or behavior that we stigmatize, but just as humans. And because I was seeing how that was kind of affecting our connection with each other, and that's a passion of mine. So that's why I am here, and I truly thank Sonia for inviting me, and also look forward to connecting with Chris as well. So welcome, and of course we'll talk about what's on my channel, all that stuff after we get done. But hey, everybody! Oh, muted.
Mr. Christopher.
Hey, I'm Christopher Markland. I am basically a lover of love. That's how I got into writing my books. That's why I got into shows like Ready to Love and just relationships in general. I've had quite a few of them, unfortunately, but you know what to say. You got to live and learn.
Yeah.
So I definitely just enjoy, like I said, the conversations like this, but also just the human experience and watching how men and women interact with each other and just the mistakes we make and the journeys that we take on our different paths to love. So that's why I'm here. I love love.
I love that you love love. That's so awesome. That's so nice to hear in this day and age, especially in these YouTube
Yes.
streets, because all you hear about is disgruntled people.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's easy to get jaded though. It's easy to get jaded. It really
Yeah.
is, which is kind of like why we're having this conversation. It really is.
Hmm. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, you guys know me. We're going to get started. So first, I'm going to play one video, and I want an initial reaction, and then we'll play another video, and then we'll get into this conversation. Okay. So
unattracted to men and they have no choice but to deal with you. And they act like it, don't they? Like these men don't like women for real.
I'm gonna start over, guys.
That don't like women, but they're sexually unattracted to men and they have no choice but to deal with you. And they
Mm.
act like it, don't they? Like these men don't like women for real. They don't bond with women. They don't emotionally connect with women. They prefer to be around men. They respect men. They get along with men. They see men as their equals. They do not view you as it. The only reason they're with you is because they're not sexually attracted to the men. If it wasn't for sex or power, they wouldn't be with you. I need y'all to watch out for these men. Like, actually, like, inquire about whether this man actually like women. Not if you're heterosexual. My question to you is, do you actually like women?
Ooh.
Okay. Sis, you have that beautiful smile on your face.
All right. His
What are your
passion.
initial thoughts?
His passion. He said, "Do you really like women?" I think this is coming from a place of how men and women are socialized. So like my initial response is, like what I'm hearing is like men are in a space where they are functioning, and this is grand sweeping, right? From a logical space. And women, we are functioning from a place that is emotional. And men are taught that emotions make you weak. So we have this thought, and you see a woman and she's emotional, there's a there's naturally going to be a part of you that views her as weak or won't have respect for her and her feelings, right? And so I think that's a part of this. Like that's my initial reaction. I'm like, this whole thing that we don't have space for our feelings, so now we don't have space for other people's feelings, and we are creating like this emotional distance within ourselves, and that shows up right in our relationships. The second piece that my initial response is, I know that I've even heard and experienced this where I've seen men say, hey, women want this, women want that. And, this is how you respond or this is how you get around that, as a way to protect themselves from getting hurt, protecting themselves from being used. And so, like, these mindsets are passed down and used as protection, right? Even though um, that isn't that, like Chris was saying, loving love, right? There's a part of them that probably wants that connection, but fears that connection at the same time, right? So that's like my initial reaction to it, but definitely it is very it's something that I've seen very much. There's a part of me that gets like a little activated when I hear the word female, and how it's used, like them females, them broads, words like that, and feel like that is a part of this, like
Mhm.
this terminology and how it kind of dehumanizes women so that we don't really care about what happens to them or how we treat them. We just use them for X, Y, and Z.
Yes, we'll wait to the second clip. Christopher, your thoughts.
Sure. Going off of what he said, I made a couple of notes there. One of the things he said is it's about respect. And I think that right now, a lot of men do not feel respected. However, we feel respected by other men. So when a while back, Charles Barkley once said that, hey, you ain't got to like me. I don't care if you dislike me. You ain't got to respect me, but what you ain't gonna do is disrespect me. And I think that what a lot of men nowadays feel is disrespect. It started all the way back. I don't want no scrubs, and I can do bad by myself, and independent and all this. So a lot of men don't feel respected because the things that men used to do. And I go back to what you just said. Women want, men provide, but the things that a man is providing now, if you are saying, hey, I can do this for you, and then someone says, I don't need you, I can do it by myself, that's not there's no respect in that. So therefore, but if as a man, if I say to another dude, hey bro, can you do XYZ for me? Yeah, I got you, dog. That's respect. Because if a man does for you and then you in turn do for him and he appreciates what you do, hey dog, I appreciate you coming through for me. Of course I'm gonna gravitate towards that. The problem is, and one of the things you just said, as far as men aren't necessarily emotional per se. Men actually do, but the thing is, uncontrolled emotion is something that men don't like. Think about it. Going all the way back to when we were kids playing Pop Warner football, we learned get hyped. That's an emotion, so we learned how to do it. But a man that doesn't control his emotion, other men, his emotions, other men don't want to be around him because that's a dangerous man to be around. So men know how to navigate around other men, whereas women now are have a lot of masculine traits, but the difference is I can go whoop another dude, I can't beat a woman. So therefore it's something that I hate to use this, I don't, I'm gonna use the word control. I can control another dude, right? Because men understand hierarchy.
Mhm, mhm,
But if you have a woman that is acting in a masculine space, but she's still a woman, I don't want to say female, but she's still a woman, then
mhm,
it's and I was going to say female just by the sex. So it's a difficult space for men to operate. Then let's add in the hashtag Me Too, where if I say the wrong thing or if I do this, my whole career can be canceled, as it were. You tend to go to safe spaces, and I think that that's why we have where things are so balkanized, where I'm going to be over here, you be over there, and if we get together it's because we just need to fulfill some physical thing. That's kind of
mhm.
where we are.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you guys for your feedback. I'm gonna give you part two. Get your thoughts there. We can really get into it.
Hmm.
When I say some men don't like women for real, I'm not questioning your sexuality. I mean, you don't see women as people. There are certain men that only see you as an object to have sex with, an object for status or power, but they don't see you as a human being. They don't see you as equal. That's why they want you to serve them. That's why they keep throwing this word submissive around every which way, because some men don't want a wife, they want a slave. Some men don't want a mind, they want a trophy. Some men don't want your heart, they want your box. What I'm telling you, lady, is run fast as away from these men. And I'm gonna give you the run fastest away from these men starter pack. Any man that excessively uses the word delusional, run away from this man. Women are delusional. They delusional. These delusional women. Starter pack. The excessively uses the word accountability. Run fast. He probably don't like women that much.
I'm trying to get the most aggressive eye roll I possibly can, but go ahead. I'm gonna fall back from it because
No, I was
um
gonna come to
Get
you.
it, please. Get it. Get the eye
man,
roll.
oh boy, I used to have hair before I listened to that nonsense. Good lord, come on now. All right, ooh, all right. He's right. A lot of men don't like women because they are unlikable. There are a lot of women that are unlikable. I'm gonna bring it into like this season, for instance, of Ready to Love, since I think we're all fans of the show. One of the main one of the characters that's on there now is a lady by the name of Charisse. What does she say? Men are intimidated by me because I'm a boss. I'm this. We don't give a damn about your money, your status. We want a feminine woman. Look at how Kayla, on the other hand, is more successful. She's a boss. She does her thing, but she's also a feminine woman. Men are not intimidated by women, but we're careful around women because you're a lot of women aren't likable. They think that because you've achieved a job, because you've done this, because you've done that, and there are a lot of women that are delusional. But the thing is, you can't say that. You can't say, look, you hold women accountable. So what he's saying right there, y'all, just as a dude listening to that, that's pandering. I hear what he's saying, but
Yeah,
it's like, come
yeah.
on, man. And here's the thing.
Hmm.
I said it a second ago. Men know about submitting. I was in the army. I submitted to my squad leader. I submitted to my platoon sergeant. I submitted to when I played football. I submitted to the quarterback. I submitted to the linebacker on defense that was calling in plays. I submitted to my coach. On my job, I submit to my sales manager. We know what it means to submit. One of the things that's going around right now is where people are talking about the group leader. If you One of the things that I don't think women think that, okay, there's always one group leader. No, it's not. But if you have a person that's an SME, subject matter expert on that particular thing, he's the leader and everybody else falls in line. We know how to submit because we understand that when you fall in line, you have a leader, I play the rear. It's a team and we all win. So there's absolute men know how to submit because we understand a hierarchy. You cannot have chaos in a relationship where everybody leads. There is no co-CEO, there is no co-president, there is no co-captain. It's either a leader and then someone follows, and there to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. Men understand that. So when we say submit, it's not a matter of you better do what I do. Man, please, we ain't caveman hitting you upside the head, dragging you by your hair. We just understand that if there is chaos because everybody wants to be in charge, nobody's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'm done. I'm going to step off the soapbox. My
Okay.
bad. Y'all go ahead.
You okay? You okay? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. So you're muted.
I don't know why I keep muting myself. I'm one to believe, thank you, that things can coexist.
Yes.
So I do believe there are a group of men who feel that way because I've experienced that where they feel like I had a guy on a date, 10 minutes into the date. We met for breakfast brunch. Do you know how to submit? That was his question to me. He was so angry. And so my
Yeah.
question to him was,
That's a corny dude.
it was, and it was pretty much the end of the date. So what I said was, what do you mean biblically, or what exactly
Right.
are you referring to?
Right.
Do you know how to submit to your man? Do you know how to take care of your man? Good day, sir, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to entertain this question. But we can get into it a little more. I think there's some other anger issues and some other things. There are a group of men who are like that. And there are a group of men, like you said, who are military men. They understand structure, they understand roles, and they are looking for partnership. But there is a toxic group of individuals. There are, just like there are some women who are unlikable, just like there's some women who are likable. I think all things can exist. And
Absolutely.
one thing that I've noticed about today's society is we put a blanket on everything, and it's all women and all men. But
Yes.
we have to speak more to our experiences because our experiences are different. Why'd you laugh, Chris?
Because no one should be angry at brunch. I love that comment. She's right. You have breakfast, you have
You have
lunch.
you
Why
have
would you be
Mimosas?
angry? Right.
He was so
Right.
angry. You could just tell. And here's the thing, he was ex-military, current police officer. I was like,
He
no, I
was.
don't know. Hmm.
I would say he was hurt at brunch. He
He
wasn't
was
angry.
hurt, but his energy came off very aggressive.
Yeah. He was
Yes,
protected.
I do believe
Yeah.
this. I agree that it's come from a place of hurt. And we're going to get into, because I have a lot to say about that, but
Yeah.
we'll get into that. But Alicia, I wanted your input on this.
Ooh. Yeah. So I do. I think, and I'm glad that Chris brought up the idea of respect because I feel like that was what he was talking about. Um, you know, I think sometimes there has to be like a nuance between respect and submission, and
Mhm,
then what it means. What
mhm,
exactly do you mean by submission? Like you said, like, do you know how to submit? Like, help me understand what submission looks like for you,
mhm,
because everybody has a different picture depending on their perspective and experience about what submission looks like.
mhm.
So men, their love language, the way they communicate love is through respect. That's
Right.
that's how. And so unfortunately not every woman gets that information and gets that understanding
Mhm,
and comes from a space of love to a man, and a man can love. Like they will love. They
mhm,
do love.
mhm.
And at the same time respect is the condition.
Right.
Respect is the condition.
Mhm,
And so if like those women who are in the unlikable category, who maybe have seen some really unhealthy ways to communicate, unhealthy ways to address men in their relationships, because they don't have a soft space, right? They don't have or they even don't feel safe or have never felt safe to communicate from a soft space. They're coming in anger, they're lashing out, or they're trying to control or protect themselves in that way instead of being vulnerable and communicate from a space that's honest. Yeah, then that's where you're going to have these men responding in that way, because they're like, you're putting me in a situation where I don't get the respect because you're talking to me in a way that isn't like you love me, right? Or
Mhm.
respect me. And then you want me to do X, Y, and Z, right? And so I think, again, like I said, I think the dehumanization, one, that is something that is unfortunately like a cultural burden, something that we have experienced as a people. We're talking about specifically black men and black women. We've experienced as a people, and we have internalized and we do it to each other. And so that kind of is a breeding ground for people to create spaces where they are coming from protection, seeing each other as enemies versus, okay, how can we address this in a way that where we're still respecting the relationship, right? And we're still respecting each other. So I think, yeah, there is. I think there is a group. I agree with Chris. There's a group of men who know how to respect, who know how to be held accountable. I think there's also a group of men who have had some really um, negative experiences with their mothers, and
Man, I
and
just wrote that down. Oh,
I think there's some men that have some very negative experiences with their mothers and see women through that young boy or teenage boy self. And so I saw an interview with Kev on Stage and his wife and Kurt Franklin and Tammy Franklin because they have the book out. And Kurt Franklin talked about how he felt like his wife was the rule lady. She had the rules because he just wanted to have fun with his kids. That's all I wanted. I just want sex and fun. That's what he thought marriage was.
yeah.
And that's because he wasn't understanding that, oh, I'm as a husband, oh, we're in this together, and I have to be planning from a space where we're working together and planning for our household. But he's in a childlike space of wanting to connect with his children because he didn't have a father. And so I think that sometimes that's what's happening is that men are interacting with women just like women are interacting with men from a younger space, and unfortunately projecting their beliefs and thoughts that they have towards their mother that are a bit rigid, right, towards women when they're interacting with them, and they're paying for stuff that they didn't do necessarily, or even activating some wounds, right? So I'm not saying women are innocent because not we all learning. So
Mhm.
even the ones that say are a bit expressive and can be and push the button because my mother, how she raised me, is if you put your hands on a man, you put yourself in a man's place, right? Not every woman received that lesson. And so there are women who will push that envelope. Well, I'll hit you because I know you won't hit me back, right? And that's
Mhm.
still a disrespect, and that's still viewed and received in a man as unloving, as
Right.
unloving. And so, not saying that we innocent. I'm not trying to say that at all. Okay, that's my
No,
that's my 3 cents because I was talking a lot. So 3 cents.
no, you're fine. Chris, go ahead because you've been over there like.
You know what? No, 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 no. I receive all of that. I will say this. I think that whereas what used to be a loving relationship was one that was defined as a bond, I think that now loving relationships are one that are defined in some type of physical term, be it sexually or in the case of fighting for me. Are you, if I hit you and you don't hit me back, then you don't love me, or that kind of thing. So they think that the physical touch defines the strength of the relationship,
Mhm.
and I'm not a big fan of the word toxic, but damn it, that is toxic.
Yeah.
I will say this though, there are a lot of dudes. Our social media age, I think, has given a lot of weak men power
Mhm.
because now they have a voice. All of us have a studio in our hand, and we can go on and say, well, women are this and men are that, and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of dudes now are coming aboard and saying, hey, y'all women do this. There's something about a man that the less he speaks, the more powerful he is. A man that's looking for a woman to submit doesn't ask her if she's going to submit. Just like a no man that says, I'm an alpha male, the minute you say it, bro, no, you're not. The same thing is a leader doesn't say, I'm a leader. You just know a leader because of how he moves, and the way he moves, his charisma gets people to follow. So a lot of dudes do things now to test because they don't have the game to move forward. if I'm on a date with you or any other woman, there is no way in the world I'm gonna ask you, are you gonna submit? I'm just gonna look at how you move, and how you move is gonna tell you who you are. That's kind of like you asking this dude, are you masculine? No, how you move is how you move. Do you open the door for me? Do you know when you get out the car? Do you look around and make sure it's safe? Do you make sure that certain things are taken care of? Do you look up to see, yeah, it's about to rain, let me grab this umbrella just to be sure? Those are the things you don't have to say it. A man knows how to move because he's a grown man. Oh, I'm a little low. Shoot,
You're a
as long
little.
as I talk. All right. So,
You get your
so
radio voice on tonight.
I know. So it's one of those things, man. There's certain things you don't have to do as a man. Now I need to adjust my game, right? It's certain things you don't have to do as a man. Just like if a man asking a woman certain things, he's testing her. He's testing her early to see where he can maneuver with her, as opposed to allowing things to develop and then, okay, hey, you stepping too far the line here, babe, come on, bring it on back. Or at the same time, that's what it is. But if you're asking that question, the answer either way tells me how I'm going to control you, essentially.
It's very true. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. So essentially, you guys are agreeing and disagreeing. Are we saying both can exist, coexist, or are we team one way or the other?
Let's define the term for me. What do you mean?
Define which term.
I want to make sure when you say do I don't agree.
Do
We
you believe
like.
a
Go
group
ahead.
of men,
Hmm.
excuse me, I'm sorry, do you believe there's a group of men that don't like women for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about, okay, so yeah, so I'm not
Yeah.
just talking about women
Yeah.
who are unlikable. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Alicia,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're
And I break it down a little bit. The reason, not women. Let's. It's not a matter of women. They don't like this culture of women. They don't like the Cardi B style of women. They don't like the city girls. Let's turn up and they don't like that style of women. They don't like the women that want to buck up like they're a man. Yeah, they don't like that. It's not a matter they don't like women. They don't like this current crop and culture of women who, when you say, hey, ma'am, why are you doing that? You don't tell me what to do. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, because no. Yeah, we don't like that. Do we like women all day? Do we like a feminine? It's a trigger word, but a feminine submissive woman? Yeah, because it's like, hey, babe, don't do that. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I know that you're looking out for me. You're not trying to control me, but just like, hey, I can see that if we do that, we're going to have some problems, babe. Don't do that. Or, babe, let's do this. Okay, cool. That kind of thing. But this current crop, nah, not really.
okay. So this is what I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Hello, Kimberly Reviews. Thank you for stopping by. Hello, Super Gamer. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am single. Thank you. We love you. And then also, Mr. Lorenzo, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello.
Oh,
Hi, the Miss Creative. Thank you so much for stopping by. Okay, so I agree. And I wanted to, so my next question was, where do you guys think this stems from? I have a list of thoughts. I could go on this topic for about 50 hours, but we don't have that kind of time. Where do you believe is this behavior or this thought process stems from? Alicia, you touched on earlier about moms, the relationship with their mothers. Do you feel like there are any other contributing factors or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think yes, because it didn't start with the black mama, right? It didn't start. There's a reason why the black mother shows up in a certain way, and not
he's fine. He's
saying
fine. He's fine.
that we're giving excuses for behaviors, but explaining. And so, um, culturally, for a single black mother to raise a boy, there is a lot, unfortunately, fear-based parenting that's happening of the um, the fact that, really, let's be honest, the black man should be on the endangered species list, right? Because they are viewed as enemy number one. They are probably one of the most hated people on the planet. Like, let's be clear. So, a black mother is one, either responding from her experiences of men and projecting that onto to her son, and also dealing with trying to save him from the perils that's out there, right? So I think there's a lot of nuances of how this dynamic starts, because we can't overlook the centuries of oppression and how that impacts how we react with each other, because all of that is directly correlated to how we connect with each other or how we don't connect with each other. And so I think that's a huge piece. I think parenting, and how unfortunately fear-based parenting does show up in the typical Black home, and how boys don't have space. Boys don't have a space to feel. They don't have a space to explore themselves. Oftentimes, they are just do as you're told, or else, you know. And so I feel like Black boys oftentimes aren't and given a space to fully grow and fully expand and explore themselves. They are told how they're supposed to express themselves and force themselves to fit this mold, right? So I think that's a huge piece, just that contributes to this phenomenon of Black or men not liking women, and then also how women are parented and socialized as well, because we do need to look at what does a relationship look like. Like, what is we don't really have realistic expectations for relationships for women, from men. I feel like it comes from a young place sometimes within us, or a place that's romanticizing what a relationship or what we're supposed to get from a man or from a woman, um, and not look at like their needs and their feelings as well when interacting with each other. So it's a lot of factors.
I appreciate what you say about fear based parenting, but one of the things I think has contributed to this is friend based parenting,
Oh,
where these
absolutely.
parents want to be their children's friend. And
Out of fear. That's out of
well, that you're right, because the fear of being alone.
fear.
So it's like, hey, you're my little king, you're my little prince. I want you to stay with me forever. And part of your job as a parent is to raise your child so that they will leave. But if you raise your child and they never want to leave their mama alone, or they never want to get out from under the then you're going to have another issue as well. So therefore, what we've been doing, I think, and which has contributed to that, is that we are raising a generation of entitled children. Where both young men think that they're owed a certain thing, whereas, well, my mama did this for me, why you ain't doing that kind of thing. Then at the same time, little girls aren't raised to be wives per se. And in the comments, someone just said some Black men appear to be projecting that lack of power in the world onto Black women. Let's flip it around. A lot of Black women actually think that their power supersedes a man. So I got this power, I don't need you for nothing. So it's like, if that man isn't coming with even more power than a woman has, well, I got a job, I got my own place, I ain't got, okay, you're an adult, so if you ain't got that, no, then what happens then is going back to the very first thing we wrote down, disrespect. So that's where all of that tends to go, because if little girls are raised like, hey, you go to school, you go do this, you go do this, so that way you don't need no man for nothing, you'll be okay. You've literally disregard everything else. You said, I'm raising you so you don't need no man.
Mm.
How can she be ready for a relationship if she has been raised and conditioned to not need a man? And the man is like, okay, I don't need no woman because I got mama anyway. So once you get all of that, it's such a disconnect all the way around that it's like relationships are on they CPR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So once upon a time, I know a lot of people have forgotten about this. I'm a 70s baby still, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And I remember the times when
Do you?
Yeah, it was in my head too. I'm
Do
holding it.
you remember? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. Let me mute myself.
No, you're fine. It's cool. Because this is a heavy topic. And I want to talk more about some stuff that we don't talk about. I think in our community, a lot of times, again, everyone hasn't had the same experience, but sometimes we want to pretend as though things didn't happen. I
Yeah.
remember the times of the independent woman where every woman I knew was like, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I also know that a lot of that came from there were a lot of men who were extremely abusive. I have
Yeah.
watched with my own two eyes how women were in relationships with people with their mate who was physically abusive. And not to pick on military, love military, but there's a lot of trauma and a lot of us don't know how to get help when we need help, and they take that out on their partners. We often hurt the ones that we love, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so all of the rejection that a lot of our men received when the welfare system came into play, and they were like, you can't be in a home, but the women were working as maids, because this happened in my own family. The women were working as maids and helpers, but they couldn't, that's not enough to take care of these. At the time, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 children, you know? So there was that. So you push the man out of the home because that's the only way you're going to be able to get help from the government. You as a woman can't make enough on your own. He's having children on the side. Like, there are so many components. Even before, we can go way back into slavery times, but we don't really have to go back that far. We can go back 50s to the 50s, 60s, and the 70s. All of those things I feel play a role into where we are right now. And then one thing, I think the coup de grace was when we went through the crack era.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
the crack era was the first era where mothers were out of the homes. And, before it was always grandma. You always had Big Ma, you always had, Papa, but there was always a mother. And nurturing comes primarily, not mainly, primarily from the mom. And there was a time when crack came, crack got rid of all of that. And a lot of these young men whom are our age now, I don't know you guys' age, but who's my age now, um, I know what they saw and what they went through. And I was explaining this to someone. I was like, some of these men are mad and angry at women because, yes, they are projecting their childhood. It is their child, inner child, like upset with their parent because, hey, I watched mom sell her body for drugs. I watched mom let men come in and out of the house for drugs. We were abused. I watched her get abused. I, as a boy who's supposed to be a man, I can't protect my mom. I'm frustrated that I couldn't protect my mom. I'm frustrated that this happened. Like, a lot of people don't understand how much of a burden children carry for their child. I mean, for their parents, thinking that they're supposed to protect their parent, especially when you use terms like, that's my big boy, that's mama's baby, that's the man of the house. And, when you give them that responsibility, they carry that on. And then you have also, there were a lot of women who put their man out of the house for good reason and for not, right? And a lot of men, I feel, are trying to get the male gaze, not sexually, but in support, because there is a father issue here. And we don't talk about the
Yeah.
father issue, right? So there is the absence of dads in the house. Some really did leave. Some really did go get bread and didn't come back. And it wasn't always the woman's fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I like to bring all of it into it because it
Yeah.
isn't blanket. I've seen so much in my life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen both sides, and I don't feel like one male or female holds the brunt
Yeah.
of all of our problems. I think if we start having honest conversations, we can get to another place. But what do you guys' thought on the independent woman movement and the crack era impacting our community and making things as they are now?
What you just said, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I'm the oldest of seven myself.
Yeah, well, no, well, there you go. But no, what I was thinking is this: when you tie in what you just said, the with the system pushing men out of the house. If you go back to what I was saying earlier, as far as young men learn hierarchy, meaning they learn how to submit, meaning they learn leadership. But if there isn't a man there in the home to teach a young man, hey, this is how you fall in line, this is how men lead, because now they're learning how to follow. Yeah, it will affect, the next generation, as it were. And I like what you're saying about the crack era, the crack, that whole era, that epidemic. I'm gonna add one thing too:
Okay.
the death of music, the death of art has
Yeah.
played a big part, because going all the way back to Shakespeare, you learn love is art. And if the art of loving someone, the art of wooing someone, the art of courting, the art of all of that is dead, think about it. There are no R&B artists anymore. You just have rappers that sing. So if you don't have the music, especially us as a culture, we've always going all the way back to Africa. I'm Jamaican, so it's like, the rhythm them that, it's just something that, when it gets you going, it moves you, and it motivates you to either, like you said, going back to the crack era. All right, NWA, yeah, it's gonna motivate you to do something, or as opposed to, Marvin Gaye, he's gonna motivate you to do something. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. You see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you know
Yes.
what? I agree. Real quickly, Alicia, I wanted to say I agree, because I remember we had that era where we loved. There was the men singing about loving a woman, missing a
Yeah.
woman. I get my woman back. Same thing. Everybody talked about their feelings, right? How they
Mm-hmm.
felt and
Yeah.
what their desires were. But then again, but it was during the crack era. It was in the late
Mm-hmm.
80s. We didn't next, bees ain't but holes in, you know what I mean? Then we got
Mm-hmm.
that. It became commonplace. So go ahead, Alicia.
Essentially, talking about their mama. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I was like doing my old person speech with my children. Like, what love songs do you guys have exactly? What's happening? Because even after the crack epidemic, the 90s were
Yeah.
about like love and men singing with their veins popping out of their neck,
Yeah.
about love. I even think about the verses that was between Earth, Wind, and Fire and the OJs, and the OJs talked about how
The
they
reasons.
the way they wrote songs, and they would do it as a way we want to make a woman feel special. And I said, "Oh my, hi Kitty!"
We have
Like
a
I'm like,
visitor. Hi.
I'm like, where is that? Where is that? And even the same on the other flip of the coin,
Cat.
like where's that for men as well? Of like
Yeah.
of making them feel special, and that's I really feel like again, this is protection. This
Mhm.
is layers and layers of hurt,
Yeah.
and how we are protecting ourselves by unfortunately creating this distance from each other, and looking at, like you said, what we can get from each other. But absolutely, I think there's a lot of cultural um, movements and things that have impacted us, and unfortunately we're coming from a space, or I won't say we are, but you hear voices that are coming from a space blaming men, blaming women,
Mm-hmm.
instead of realizing that we've all experienced
Mhm.
this, like we've all experienced this pain, right? and
Mhm.
and we've all experienced um, either absence of a parent, or mistreatment of a from a parent in some way, whether it was big T trauma or little T trauma. It's still all real. And so we have to create a space where, ooh, I know this might, we have compassion for each other,
Okay.
right? Like, ooh,
Some
I know,
empathy.
I
We get
know.
empathy in there.
It's compassion to see each other as human beings, to see a man. Okay, even like I have compassion for the brother who was like, do you know how to submit at brunch? I have compassion for him, because, and I know you do too, Sonia. I was like, because I know where that's coming from, not feeling
Yeah.
respected, not feeling like his love and sacrifice was honored by the person he gave it to. That's what I hear. And so
Ooh.
that's a heartbreak for a man to be able to take down the walls that he has
No.
told that he's supposed to build over his heart, to
Right.
take those down, to put him in a space to love you, and then not be respected.
Yes.
And so that's huge. That's huge.
There is nothing more backbreaking as a man than to not be appreciated. Man, when
Yeah.
I tell you we get out there, we fight dragons day in and day out, especially as a black man. There, I mean, we deal with so many things, the microaggressions we deal with, and a lot of that stuff, you got to suck it up and you got to hold it in. And when I tell you to not be appreciated, and especially when I tell you what it takes to feel appreciated, and when you don't feel appreciated as a man, that when I tell you that, it's gut wrenching. So I feel you on that one. Yes,
Yeah.
Lord.
And,
And you know
and
some interesting. Go ahead.
I say, and then let's not add it to, say, if you weren't feeling appreciated as a child, so there's a wound there, and
Right.
then and then you're in a relationship, that which unfortunately usually happens, where you're in a relationship where it activates that wound. It even makes the pain even greater, right?
Right. And I agree. And when I coach, I tell clients, especially my ladies, like, when's the last time you showed appreciation? When is the last time you said I thank you? Because sometimes there's this attitude that that's what you're supposed to do. But even if this person signed on to get, say they gas your car up every week, say thank you. Let them know that there's appreciation. Gratitude brings abundance, and when you do that, it makes a person want to do more for you, and it
Yes,
makes
Lord.
you fulfilling. You listen. That's a whole another conversation when we talk about how to date and how to have relationships and partnerships and what that looks like. You guys come back and talk about that with me, would you please?
Yes.
You
Um,
just said it. Men want, and if a woman wants something, a man will provide. So yeah, but if we provide and then we provide and then it's like, yeah, no thanks. But get little shouty over there is like, hey, I see you over there. Hey, thank you, man. We start inching on over there. It's like, why are you cheating? She appreciates me.
appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times you hear, and I know we're kind of staring into another topic, but it's like why is he cheating on me? I do this, I do that. Yeah, but he doesn't feel appreciated. At the end of the day, most women come with standard equipment, right?
Mhm.
So it's there, but if how you treat them, it goes back again. Are you likable? She is. I'm gonna go where I'm liked. It ain't about how much money she makes or whatever. She's likable, and I'm gonna go where I feel appreciated.
And I agree with that to an extent.
Uh-oh.
Only because this. I always feel like
Uh-oh.
no. Only because this. I always feel like cheating is a choice. That's for one.
Oh, for
And
sure. I
okay,
choose to go where it's nice.
I choose to go where it's nice, right? But I'm an accountability. I'm always your accountability buddy,
Sure.
which shows her. And most of the time, y'all know she doesn't appreciate you. You know she's a hot head. You know she has a smart mouth. You know all these things about her, but you still want her.
Which
And
one? The
the original,
The original.
Oh,
the original.
oh, oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
No,
Some of y'all
I
pick
was
bad partners and then you mad at everybody because you keep picking bad partners. Now you see the signs. All of I know, Alicia, you don't like red flags, but we're gonna say
no.
red
You okay?
flags.
You can say red flag.
Oh,
You
I'm a
made a
firm
video
believer
about
in
red
red
flags.
flags. Some things are
Well, all the flags are flagging, right?
All the
You
flags
know,
are
and at
flagging.
first her crazy love is good. First you all right with all of that craziness and this, and then it becomes as time goes
I can
on,
answer that question, Kimberly.
it becomes a problem. What was Kimberly? Oh,
Oh, what are some ways? Yeah.
First and foremost,
say it. But go ahead.
First and foremost, just say thank you because a lot of
Hmm.
times, again, appreciation. You see the things your man is doing, but to you, it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I can do. If you look at, well, I could have done that for myself, then you don't appreciate the fact that you didn't have to do it for yourself. He did it for you. That's first and foremost. And another thing is, a lot of times you hear, I hear women say, okay, he didn't tell me what he want. Yeah, the hell he did. He just doesn't want a lot. It's a lot of men are like, hey, I want peace and quiet. He
Yeah.
told you, give him peace and quiet, or if he's like, I want, if I come home, just cook for me. That you would not understand how after you fighting them dragons and you coming in and it's like 5 minutes to decompress,
Yeah.
I can in Jamaica and just yam up some food and fill my belly up, and then you just sit down somewhere, and then it's like, hey, tell me about your day. Little things like that, to know that I'm in a safe space. A woman is nurturing me, and now my tank is filled up, and it's like, all right, I can go out and do it again. Those things right there are. A man will run through a brick wall knowing that he has that kind of woman that is nurturing him in that way, and knowing that we feel appreciated. It's like, yo, I see that you went out there, you killed 6 dragons, and climbed 5 towers. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Ooh, man, that's like emotional Viagra right there.
Yeah.
Ladies, he's telling the truth. Sometimes we think it's other things, but really it's not. And it is particular to your man, but appreciation is huge.
And most men are simple. It's something as simple as, all right, give me the space and grace to go play my PlayStation. Man, please. Oof. Babe, go play your PlayStation and decompress. In fact, here's some lemonade, or here, better yet, oh my God, some Kool-Aid. There you go, babe.
Kool-Aid.
That man will, man, please, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
I love it. Miss Alicia, what do you have to add?
You were speaking to the men were this in this situation who, because women do this as well, pick a person that the red flags are waving, but
Mhm.
they still pick a person knowing that, well, there's a part of them that knows that they're not going to get their needs met.
Mhm.
What I feel is happening when that happens is there is a part that it's like, I'm going to make them choose me. I'm going to make them appreciate me. I'm going to make them, because that part is like fighting for our worth, right?
Mhm.
And not realizing that our realm of control, our realm of influence on how somebody behaves is real small. It's like real small.
Yeah.
A woman once told me the only thing you can really change about a man is maybe his socks and his underwear. That's about it. Other than that, he is who he is. So, and so taking that in, like, okay, if you're seeing this, then talking to your younger child, like, hey, we can't allow us to continue to want something that's not there, and
Right.
it's not about us and our worth. This is just about how this person is showing up. But yes, appreciation. It's I think words of affirmation are huge for men. I do think, of course, it's specific, and at the same time, words of affirmation is huge. It's huge, especially for Black men.
Yes.
So unfortunately, stereotypically, our homes aren't the most affirming homes.
Mhm.
And so having a space of, babe, I appreciate you, all the hard work that you do for our family, all the hard work that you do for me, how you go out of the way to make sure that I'm okay, that I'm feel special. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
What you just said just triggered something in me. A woman cannot make or change a man, an adult man, because a man is who he is, right? The
Right.
only way that a man will change for the better is under the guidance or the pressure being placed on him by another man. Iron sharpens iron. What a man will do is he will adapt in order to make, if a woman says, hey, I want you to do this, what the man is going to do is he's going to adapt to make her environment or the environment that they share better. He's not going to necessarily improve because this woman said, I need you to do this. But what he will do is, I'm going to improve to make sure that she has something better, if that makes sense. Only another man is going to be able to push a man to greater heights. That's why men, like I said, we are used to that. We are used to having a coach. We're used to having a boss. We're used to having a sergeant. We're used to having somebody pushing us to where, man, I can't go, coach. You got it. Or, hey, Private Markland, run. All right, man, I got it. We're used to that push. We're not used to, a woman cannot push you that way. She'll make us work to adapt, but
Right.
not necessarily better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, make a meaningful change,
Right.
something that's gonna
Mhm.
last.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But I also think that's the difference. Like when we grew up, there was a lot of sports and men had
Yeah.
more guidance. You had coach, You can go, even if you didn't have a dad in a home, you had coaches you could go talk to, or the gym teacher.
Hmm.
And a lot of these men don't have that nowadays.
Yeah.
They are sincerely surrounded completely by women. So there isn't, that's why I also think when we, getting back to our original subject, although we can stay on this, there are a lot of men who are trying to get respect from men. And if they feel like a man of their men, their peers, like you just said, Chris, if they feel like you will condone this, you will praise me in this, I receive approval from
Hmm.
you as a man, then this is how I'm going to behave.
Yeah.
That's how some people on YouTube has become so big, because there was a man who were not a man who was not only validating their feelings and their shared experiences,
Yeah.
but also there was a man that was guiding them. So there's mentorship amongst our
Hmm.
men and women
Yeah.
Yeah.
are very, very important, I believe.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what's scary though is that you have a bunch of emotional men that don't know how to lose. Like just a couple, I'd say about a month ago, give or take, there was some, and you hear it more and more and more often. These altercations at pee wee
Hmm.
football games, and you see parents all on the court because how dare you not put my, and it's like no, there used to be a point in time that the reason why your scrub son ain't on the court is because he can't hoop. But now it's like you better put my son in there or else, and now you got coaches being shot or coaches not being able to say nah, your son needs to go practice, and if he does this I'll put him in. We don't even have those guidelines anymore. It's as a whole, our men have become more feminine and women have become more masculine, and because things are out of order, men just don't know how to take the L. That's why if a woman dares to say no thank you, I don't want to talk to you, well they're all kind of itches, and you know what I'm saying, because men don't know how to take the L. When we were coming up, see, I've been looking at a couple of things that Lorenzo was saying. We're on the same page. It's like, hey, if she didn't choose me, then guess what? That's her loss. You know what I'm saying? It just was a bad day. Now, if a woman has to be careful not to hurt this man's feeling because he could literally shoot her or kill her. It's men don't know how to take the L. It's kind of rough right now. There's just, it's tough.
Yeah.
There are a lot of factors, because a lot of people don't know how to take rejection. We get
True.
trophies for everyone, okay?
Yes, Lord.
So no one knows how to lose. No one, people aren't, I won't say, I'm trying not to use blanket statement. A lot of people are not used to the word no. The best thing, my mother has taught me a lot of lessons, and a lot of it was invariably. I don't think she was intending to, but she did. And one of them was no. That lady would know me. So now if you tell me no, I don't care. I'm just going to try again, find another way. I learned problem solving skills from that.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that no doesn't mean the end. Whereas now, if you say no, even when I teach, a lot of students, they don't like to be told no. They don't like to, they won't receive any type of feedback or
Yeah.
input. And when I go into the manosphere, I get that. So if I make a suggestion in the manosphere, it's like, you're delusional. I'm not delusional, because I'm saying, hey, well, conversation. I'm gonna give this as an example. I was talking to, they were talking about vulnerability, and this one guy was saying how, woman, you can't tell a woman anything, because if you tell her anything, she's gonna throw it back in your face and hurt your feelings.
Mm.
And that does happen. It does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
it
got
does.
to fight fair, and some people don't fight fair because a woman can't physically hurt a man. A lot of times, some women will verbally attack a man. So I get it. And I made a statement. I said, that's unfortunate and it's true. It happens. I said, but there are some women out here who wouldn't do that because they are loyal to you. I grew up around a lot of men. The men in my life taught me the importance of respect. So I'm never going to do that because I was taught not to respect. If I feel like I need to disrespect you, I'm going to disrespect myself. And I've been taught to leave the situation. And I know not everyone has been taught that, right?
Hmm.
So he says, no, he gets so frustrated. No, you're gonna throw it in my face. But again, I know that this belongs somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It isn't really towards me, but there was so much anger and frustration behind him because someone had him. So,
Just wanting to hug the little baby. Oh,
oh, you're so sweet, Alicia.
I'm
You know what? In my career, I have gotten, once I learned the power of no was when I was the most successful. Man, you're spot on, because everybody's so used to getting what they want, and I'll tell them in a minute. Well, can I do this? No. What do you mean? I'm a paying customer. Okay, well, you can't get it here, but I no. And it's so crazy, but human beings want a no. There's a reason why we drive between the lines. Have you ever, driven and there are no lines painted? It gives you a sense of anxiety because it's like, oh Lord. But when the lines are there, then you know where your boundaries are and you know how to move. The same thing goes when you tell someone no. Okay, cool. I know I can't go this far. No, okay, I can't go this far. Now I know where I'll be. And once you have that sense of, okay, I can move forward, it actually makes life easier.
Yes, there's
Right.
safety in no.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
protection in no.
Exactly. And a lot of men don't know. I was going to say, and you're right, is a lot of men don't know how to accept the no. And if a woman's telling you no, all right, why did she say no? Oh, probably because I need a haircut. Oh, probably because, I need to step my game up. Oh, if you take the no as a step to get that yes, you're then
Mhm.
becoming a better version of yourself. But if you take the no as if to say, I am perfect how I am, you just don't like me. So if you and the horse you rode in on, how are you improving where you are?
Hmm.
And
Right.
like Lorenzo said, soft, because you can't accept the fact that you're not perfect.
We're gonna have Lorenzo back so we can bring Lorenzo up. Lorenzo has a lot to say.
Yes, I
So
love.
But
I love
you
it.
know what though? A lot of men have a lot to say. We just don't
I
have the platforms to say it. And that's why I appreciate you having me on because I mean, I'm a Jamaican Aries man. I'll say it and I'll take the heat, but it's like I think I speak for a lot of men because it's like I'm able to articulate a lot of things that men feel but don't necessarily know how to say it. Like that dude asking you, "Are you gonna submit?" Nah, you don't say it, but there's a way that you get the answer without necessarily saying it that way. You know?
Hmm.
and as you stated earlier, leaders know how to lead.
Yeah.
People, if you are a true leader, you're looking, you know what you're looking for, and you assess what you're looking for in a person. And I'm one to believe that we're here, we're
Yep.
partners in our relationship. This is not about one dominating the other. One of us may, in fact, you want your partner. A lot of people, okay, I'm gonna get on this soapbox real quick. I
Uh
promise I'm
oh.
gonna back
Uh
off.
oh. Uh
But a lot
oh.
of people, a lot of people want to date themselves, and when you try to date yourself, you don't get someone to help you in those areas where you need help.
Balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And also at the same time, you can't lead everyone the same way.
you
There's
can.
and that right there goes part of okay, with one person I can tell them, hey, you go do that. Another person, hey, can you go do that for me? Another person, man, the last person they did it, they were able to do it in 20 minutes. I bet you can't do it. Oh yeah, you know how to. A good leader knows how to motivate. Hey, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. We
Aries
were
hate.
having a
There's some
good,
Aries hate.
positive, productive conversation. And then the Aries slander entered the chat. I apologize.
She okay.
Said Lord.
You know Aries had an anger problem. Calm down, let it out. Woosa.
Anger. No, it's the hatred that is spewed towards our greatness. And it's anyway, you know what?
I'm a Gemini. I get all the hate
I'm
all the
sorry to
time.
hear that.
Excuse
The
you?
slander.
You are not the same.
My show next week is about Gemini season, so I definitely want to talk to you. But anyway,
I
I'm
will be.
done.
You let me know. I will be there.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I was
Me
just
and all
so
my personalities.
I think you need to boot her from the chat because that's harassment, and I don't appreciate it.
Don't prove the Aries haters right now by trying to.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right. You were saying something though, sir.
I don't even know what I was saying. I was so distracted. Anyway, all I was anyway, what I was saying was, what was I saying? Oh, how you lead people, and I think that a lot of men. This goes back to what you were saying, Sonia, as far as like if you have the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and all the men are now forced out of the house. If you don't have them, first of all, if each one of those men has each one of those 5, 6, 7, 8 kids has a different father. So now you have different leadership styles. So now if one man does come to see baby daddy number 3, but then the other man comes to see baby number 7, you have all of these different mixes, but there is no one leader. When you have a family unit, as it were, you have one father, And even in the case of what you're saying, like with the Kevin, with the what's his name, Kirk Franklin, yeah, even though mom may have been a disciplinarian, which is how it was, for my son, me and my son, we have a different way of talking, communicating. Whereas my ex-wife, she's like, why are you doing that? It's like, nah, we good. She saw it differently. So if the leadership or the lack thereof has also contributed to why the young men now don't like women, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You have
Yeah.
anything to add to that, Alicia?
So much
Well,
slander in the chat.
I mean, they are getting at it. Lorenzo got your back though. Lorenzo said,
Yeah,
"Yes."
thank you, bruh. The hatred,
yes.
man.
He got
Hi, Ellen.
Can't we all just get along? Mm, mm, mm.
It's peace over everything here. We're gonna be
Let
calling
me
each
go cry real quick. Let me just.
oh,
other.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
I do want to
Okay.
just acknowledge your bravery though for going into the manosphere, Sonia. And I think that it's needed. It's truly needed. And I feel like their pain needs to continue to be validated. Their experience of women, and there is that protection that you heard of. Oh no, no! If I'm vulnerable, you're going to throw it up in my face. Like that belief, is a part of it. And I think we haven't gotten to it yet, but the way to get through this is healing, right?
Mhm.
And so for him to be able to hmm, trust himself enough to even know when
Mhm.
when a woman is going to respect his feelings and be a safe space for him,
Yeah.
right? And
And that's
so
important
that's
to not write your own narrative and
right.
know. But like you stated, it takes healing. It takes
Hmm.
healing. You guys, we have to wrap this up soon, and I'm so sad because this is such a great conversation. Okay, so to add on to what you were saying, and you can add more to this, Alicia, and then I'll go to Christopher. What do you think we could do to help the situation? For me, I'm like, I want us healing, as you stated. I would love for us to get back to the point where we can empathize and sympathize with each other and see one another as human beings, and work past all of our traumas. But I go into the manosphere. I don't go there often, but I do go just to hear because I believe information is important. And unless you understand, the irony of it all is that we all want the same thing. Everybody's arguing about the same thing. Everyone wants to be
Hmm.
loved, seen, respected, treated well. They want a faithful partner, but there's so much anger, there's so much hurt and pain, unhealed, untapped trauma that the walls are so tall and so thick. The armor is from head to toe. Love can't get in nor get out. There is so much. Lorenzo said communication, absolutely.
Communication. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what are you guys' thoughts on ways we can move to better our community? Because I am pro us and I'm pro love and pro family and pro community. So, what can we do?
I think yes, Lorenzo. I think even the thing that gets in the way of our communication are those walls, right? Those
Yeah.
walls in which we are using to hear each other. So
Hmm.
we're hearing each other through the lens of protection instead of hearing someone through the lens of compassion. And so the only way that happens, yes, is through healing. I know that this is still out there, but I still think there should definitely be some more mentorship that happens both in male spaces and for women as well, to be
Mhm.
able to one know what connection looks like, know what having compassion, and if it's not happening in the home, then finding a space, like getting back to community, like
Yeah.
what is a village now, like that is almost like few far in between, right? Yes. Like start connecting. One of the things that was like really that irked me during the pandemic is I'm one of those people who like to actually talk to people in the grocery store, like, hey, how you doing? So the fact that that was like missing, and I'm smiling at people but they can't see it because it's covered, and I'm like, man, I
Mhm.
can't connect with people, like connect in a way, that's just saying like, hey, because we're all in this together. We're all in this together, and coming from that space, and not of blame or shame,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what's being preached right now. It's blame and shame, and instead just seeing each other, yeah, as human beings. So getting their mentorship. Of course, I'm going to say therapy, but I think sometimes therapy is a tall order, right? It is a privilege in this country, right? Not everybody has access to therapy. And so finding ways to connect, right? To connect and gain community, to actually communicate and hear each other, create a space to hear each other, and even learn what like real healthy communication looks like.
Absolutely. Christopher.
Safe spaces actually need to be safe, and that starts with communication. I mean, if you understand what your partner, because safety for one person could mean hunkering down, whereas safety for another could mean moving to another area. If you understand, and like Lorenzo said, communicate with your partner, turn off the internet and actually start talking. Because like me, I like to run my mouth too, and I like this face to face. I need to see you. I want to look you in the face so you can feel. That's it's something about just real, true communicating. But real communication also starts with you being quiet and listening too. Listening to where your partner's coming from, listening to where your friend is coming from, all of that. You know what I'm saying? You need to listen so that way you're able to receive what it is that they're giving, and then you're able to then communicate in kind and actually provide safe spaces for each other. We need to do that.
Absolutely. I agree with both of you. I appreciate you guys so much. I know we have a time limit here, so I'm going to wrap today's episode up, but I enjoyed this conversation. I thank you guys so much for coming. Alicia,
I had fun until the end.
don't brush it off. Just
Yeah.
it's okay. It's
I
okay.
enjoyed this though. This was
I
this
enjoyed
was
it.
Yeah.
this is needed. Man, this is a great Monday. I love this.
Good. We'll do it again real soon if you guys are willing to come back.
Yeah.
We can
Definitely.
continue this conversation. Miss Alicia, tell us where we can find you.
Oh, I'm summer everywhere. Pretty much too many places. But if you can find me,
You doing your
you can
thing.
find me, yeah, on TikTok. Of course, here in these YouTube streets, I have a channel where I am learning or teaching about a type of therapy that does provide healing, internal family systems, and then I'm also brave enough to review Married at First Sight, where we do learn about communication and protection and how that
Mhm.
shows up in relationships. I also have a podcast called At the End of the Day that Miss Sonia nudged me to start. So I have that as well, to again help us to get back to the middle. We really come from a place of extremes. And so just to help us to get more to a centered place so that we can engage with each other and connect. But thank you guys so much for having me. And of course, I enjoy connecting with you as well, Chris.
No doubt. Thank you.
Chris, where can we find you?
Well,
Oh,
in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna my review of Ready to Love, because I'm married. I like it, but I'm definitely a married Ready to Love fan. My review should be dropping in at 7, but also I have my show as well, the CM show, and every Tuesday we have some kind of conversation about relationships, about, like, for instance, we spoke about a couple last week. We spoke about nice guys,
Mm,
where it's one thing, it sounds good, but in reality you don't want a nice guy. It's a facade, and it's not healthy, and it's problematic. Next week, we're going to be talking about Gemini season. What does it take to be in relationship with a Gemini? Yes, y'all are crazy. Are y'all really balanced? Yeah, we're going to have that conversation. Then
communication.
it's something, and it's one of those things. And then the week after, let me check something real quick. But it's while I'm looking, I'm gonna do this real quick. But that's one of the things that I do. And the week after, we're going to be talking about being unequally yoked. we're and not just in the sense of when we say unequally yoked, not just in the biblical sense, but for instance, like I am the single one. She had a conversation the other day where she was talking about a poly relationship, whereas one partner was wanted a certain desired a certain outcome, the other partner did not. They weren't equally yoked. The relationship ended. There's financially, all so many different aspects when it means, are you actually equally yoked with your partner? So we have different conversations like that on the show. But and also I'm a writer. In fact, I gotta release this book. I keep playing with it. I'm gonna drop my third book. We gotta do it. So that's me.
Do you have a website for your book?
I do. You can find me on Amazon. It's available. Both my first and second books are on Amazon. Just search Christopher Markland, and Desperately Seeking Exclusivity and Desperately Seeking Pleasure are both available there. And book number 3, Desperately Seeking Clarity, that's going to be coming soon.
That is so awesome. I am so grateful for you guys being here today. You guys, please go and subscribe to their channels and
Thank you.
all of the links they have by Chris's book. Listen to Alicia's podcast. Call her if you need somebody to talk to. I do coaching on Thursdays and Fridays. If you are interested, please contact me. I put their information in the description box below. If you are watching this on replay, please share it, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channels. We will see you guys soon. Thank you guys for the great feedback. We will be back. I'm going to arrange another time to have a panel
Oh
to
yeah.
have more conversations like this. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Go over to Christopher's channel. He's about to do Ready to Love. He'll be in the chat. All right. See you guys soon. Take care.
All
And
right.
don't forget to love yourself for who you are.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
Bye.